By bringing the first developmental player idea in, we had a place for U sport athletes, a stage now for them to perform on. And that was so important to us.
Now Hildebrand for the win, got it!
On rosters like we're seeing this year with Simon Hildebrand, Diego Mafia, they're playing for their teams. In all aspects, they're all going to go back to their team and be better and make U sports better because of the experience that they'll bring with them.
River Lions pushing back the other way. That pass out ice and TJ Law put it on ice.
TJ Law, guys who are beginning it like myself right now, and David One-Cat, guys like that, or even myself might be the first to do it, but it's gonna happen a lot more, and it's gonna be proven a lot more that U sport players can be professionals.
Gardens, USA against Canada. Thomas Kennedy, the all-time leading scorer in the history of the University of Windsor, to jump center. And Canada comes away with the opening tip.
Tom is, we proudly say, a blue-collar boy. Tom, in his first year, he had a breakout year and had played for the Canadian under-19 team. Chantal Vallée, who was the women's coach, had been given the position of the Hamilton Honey Badgers, now the Brampton Honey Badgers. She knew what Tom could do and also knew that he would be a great U sport player, because that's the other trump card or ace in the hole that CEBL has done, is their roster must include at least one active U sport player.
It had to be a product of Canadian talent. Coaching, front office, everything had to have some form of Canada in it. By bringing the first developmental player idea in, we had a place for U sport athletes, a stage now for them to perform on. So all of a sudden, teams started realizing the benefit of it. Now we have a draft.
With the number 3 pick, with the 6th pick,
with our first pick,
the Scarborough Shooting Stars select David One-Cat,
Mason Boursier, Diego Mafia,
the Manitoba Bison's Simon Hildebrand.
Lines down, and Simon Hildebrand knocks down another one.
Has been out of his mind tonight.
Boursier watched by Hill. Here's a three, the tie. He's got it.
For 3.
Gets his own rebound, goes back up, and Mooncat put it on a poster and pin it to the wall.
And now all of a sudden that U sport athlete that nobody heard of in the summer or saw in the summer is now at a whole different level because of the marketing of the CEBL. And Aidan Warnholtz and Thomas Kennedy's case on the Global Jam team, they were U Sports trained. They were the MVPs of their team. One was the MVP of the Nationals, one is the MVP of the league. They carry this swag with them, and they know how to carry, they've been in big games. So they brought an experience that other players didn't have.
And so to be able to have a CBL too, and to have the men to be able to stay home and not have to go overseas, because that's its own beast. But play in front of your friends and family is something amazing, and I hope one day we have it for the women too.
We feel like we've helped Canada basketball get better. As we go on every year, I think the partnership with TSN, the partnership with Canada basketball, I think it's going to be bigger and better.
Get compensated for the game that I love. That was my dream, and it was an opportunity that I wanted to avail myself of. That is obviously what my son has availed himself of, is the CEBL, which has just blossomed over the 5 years.
My earliest memory of organized basketball is winning a gold medal for my local club in like Division III when I was in grade 3. My dad's still coaching me, as he did for many, many years, and that'd be probably my earliest memory in organized official basketball. A lot of father-son coaching partners will bring it home, and there's no separation between coach and dad. But from early on, I think he made, whether he had 2 test runs with my older siblings, we had a very solid separation between when we're in a basketball gym, when we're shooting, whatever it is, you're my coach. But like when we're at home, you're my dad. Like to a point where one day, like after practice, and he was the one in the gym yelling at us, but I got in the car and started complaining about coach and how he was being, rude to the whole team, making us run for no reason, like what was going on. And that was just a dynamic that we always had. So it was great to never have any misbalance in between like him being my dad and also being my coach. And the reason why us as kids, me and my siblings and my mom, we all went to Lancer games is because obviously he wore the blue and gold, and that's where he really made his name for himself as a basketball player, now being in the Hall of Fame at the University of Windsor. The reason why I wear 54 is because what the 54 was in the blue and gold. And he says, so this isn't me, there is not one single similarity in our game other than we wear the same number. So other than that, he was a monster in the post though. With Scarborough here, we've always been in a must-win situation. I think sometimes we put that pressure on ourselves because we know the brand that we carry and how successful we want to be. So that was certainly one of them when we faced Ottawa. Dang was playing really well. The play right before that, and obviously no one's gonna remember the play right before that, was the exact same sequence. There was a high ball screen, I switched off onto him, and he went left hand to a pull-up jumper and hit it.
They rely on him, and Adele makes it a one-point game.
And I switch off onto one of the best offensive players in the league. And now in my mindset, when you've got one of the best offensive players in the league against, a big man, that's in their minds a matchup, whether it's scout or just an instinct. I was like, I might have to go for a steal here or else he's gonna get to his spot and do what he wants to do. Obviously they're gonna go back to the jar if it keeps on working. So they went high ball screen. And he went to the same crossover. Kind of have to make a play when it's game point and get the ball in your team's hands. So lucky enough, I was able to get a poke and then went downhill. So I was lucky enough to be drafted in that inaugural season. I had the opportunity to go through 2 weeks of training camp with Hamilton, and that began what has since been the biggest things I've gained from playing the CEBL, which is those are the first connections I made. There is obviously still a little bit of a disbelief in the talent in U SPORTS. So I still knew that I wanted to play professional basketball after school. And I'm gonna need something a little bit more to prove that I can play at that level. But having the CEBL be there for all 5 of my years was something that, like you're saying, just kind of made sense. Like, I need to get better at basketball, and I need to prove I can play at the professional level. So having the 2-month season of the CEBL just fits right in and perfect for that. I think U SPORT players are still gonna be a big part of it, but obviously the biggest message and the biggest goal of the CEBL is always to show home talent on home soil, and we continue to do that. I think it's continue to happen, and just the product that we put out is amazing.